Hello and welcome to the brand new home of Rugby League Chat, the Can't Speak podcast. I'm Gaff, a lifelong Rugby League fan and writer for the 18th Man, a website dedicated to Rugby League news and banter.
I'm Mike, been mates with Gaff for 20 odd years. Been playing rugby mostly against each other since we were little nippers as well.
Oh yeah. Great days. Smashed him. As you can maybe tell from our accents, we're both from Wigan and we both support the Cherry and Whites. However, we love Rugby League first and foremost.
Yeah, we're going to be making this as inclusive as we can, and we might even head down Pleasyscouser land to interview some ex-St Helens legends, if there are any.
Oh, I'm not sure about that yet, mate. I'll have my jabs first and see how I feel. But yeah, we're all up for meeting players who've been there and done it with whichever club. And we've got a right treat in store for you with this first episode. It ticks all the boxes. Having started his professional tenure in the early 80s, he proceeded to have one of the most decorated careers the sport has ever seen, appearing unbeaten 9 times, that's 9 times at Wembley, and was twice a World Club champion. They say big things come in small packages, and here it is, Mr. Andy Gregory. Today we are joined by the 9-time visitor to Wembley, unbeaten. It's Mr. Andy Gregory.
Hi mate, how are you, pal?
I'm not so bad, Andy. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to this start of a new adventure and away we go.
Yeah, well, let's get cracking. You're obviously one of the most decorated players in Rugby League history. The biggest name in rugby in the late 80s. How did you get involved in the setup of Rugby League?
I started at Welling Middle School.
Right.
It was a teacher there called Mr. Birchall, David Birchall, I still call him Mr. Birchall because I pay respect to people, and he paid me respect. He brought me up the right way. He knew I could play rugby. He could see a talent in me. But unfortunately, I played for Welling Middle. I played for Deanery High School. And I played schoolboy rugby, but at the time, there was a lad who played for St Thomas More, a lad called Chris Ratchford.
Yep.
He kept me out of Wigan schools, kept me out of Lancashire schools, kept me out of England schools. Chris Ratchford was a great player. He got Wigan Schoolboy Player of the Year, Lancashire Schoolboy Player of the Year, England Schoolboy Player of the Year. He signed for Wigan. And he didn't. I don't know what happened. He's still a mate of mine. I saw him the other month when I was at Old Trafford with my missus. He was with his missus, and they were both sat in the stand together, and we had a good chat. But he kept me out of all my schoolboys getting any honours at all.
Yeah. So how did that affect you when there's someone like that? You know you're good. You're being told you're good, but how did that affect you when you're seeing someone getting the acclaim maybe you're thinking you should get?
I just believed in my teacher, Mr. Birchall, and I listened to my coach, Tony Scarhill, when I went to Wigan St Patrick's. And I got into St Patrick's under-17s team, and I listened to what the coaches had to say, and I knew I had a talent, but you know, in the side what we played in at St Pat's, we wasn't up there with the best, but I enjoyed my rugby. My mum took me and my two brothers, Neil and Bryn. You know, they played rugby. They played for St Pat's. They both played rugby union as well. But I always wanted to push myself further and further. And when I got picked for Lancashire, I remember the trial down at Blackbrook, and there was me and Ray Ashton who were pushing for the scrum half spot. And when they shouted my name out that I'd been picked for Lancashire Barla, I was over the moon. We beat Yorkshire, we beat Cumbria. I got man of the match against Yorkshire, and I got picked to play for Great Britain Barla. Right. We played France at Castleford, Weldon Road on a Friday night. My mum was up there, my brothers was up there, and I got man of the match that evening. It's a cold, I will always remember it was a cold Friday night, and when it came over the tannoy that, you know, tonight's Barla Player of the Year is number 7, Andy Gregory. It was an absolute tremendous honour.
Yeah.
And one, I've still got the blazer, I've still got the bowler cap. I'm absolutely proud of it, and I do whatever I can to help amateur rugby league.
Yeah.
Excellent. Have you always played scrum half?
Yeah, I
since
can
you started,
play. Yeah, you know, like I remember a lad who we're going to speak in the next few weeks, like Ellery. I remember playing the first time against Ellery, and he was on the wing for Bradford Northern.
Right.
And then he went to standoff, he went to centre, he went to loose forward, and that's where, you know, but Ellery could play virtually anywhere.
Yeah.
But I was just, like Joel Arden, you know, could play fullback, wing, centre, play anywhere. I was just basically an out-and-out scrum half.
Yeah. So you started excelling in the amateur way. You've got nominated for Great Britain Bowler Player of the Year. How did you make that step up from amateur to professional?
I got a phone call to say that I was going to go over to Australia with the bowler squad.
Right.
And I thought it was time for me to move on to the professional game. I had about 11 clubs who was inquiring about me, you know, to sign me, from Hull to Warrington to Widnes to Wigan. And what made me the decision to sign, I played for St Patrick's on the Sunday, and when I went into the club after, I'd just received my award for man of the match in that game. I think we played Woolston Rovers, and I got man of the match award, and I went over towards the Burr area, and I heard an old stalwart of Wigan St Patrick's saying to the head scout of Wigan, "When are you going to sign this Gregory?" And obviously I heard my name mentioned, so I listened to the conversation. Yeah. And the conversation, he said, the head scout of Wigan, he didn't know I was stood behind him. And he said, listen, we've discussed Andy Gregory. We don't think he'll be big enough and he'll never be good enough. And that straight away, that was like, I won't be going to Wigan.
Yeah.
I went home to my mum, told her at 13 Banner Street, I said, Mum, Dougie Lawton's coming round here on Wednesday from Widnes, and I'm definitely not going to Wigan. No, you think about it. I said, I already have.
Yeah.
And Dougie Lawton came round, and I spoke to another couple of clubs, but Dougie sold it to me. You know, the players, and it's a bit of a sad time today because I've just found out the captain of Widnes when I went there in 1979, and in 1981 when I made my first Wembley appearance, and 82 and 84, my captain was Mick Adams. Yeah. He emigrated over to Australia, and I got a phone call on Saturday morning to tell me that Mick had a massive heart attack and he died over there. And it really, because I remember my first Wembley, we played Hull Kingston Rovers, and Widnes was in black and white, and Hull Kingston Rovers was in red and white, and 50,000 people was in black and white around the stadium. The other 50,000 was in red and white. And the noise was... And after about 5 minutes, there was a scrum down. And I went to pick the ball up. And I just kept looking at the crowds. And it just took me away. And my mind just completely went off the game.
Yeah.
Mick Adams came over to me, slapped me on the back of the head. He said, Luke Camden, if you want to have a look at the crowd and wave to the crowd, make sure you've got a cup and a medal in your hand. We'll sort that out after 80 minutes. And it just brought me down to earth. I'll never ever forget them words, what he said to me. And I've not got into, really about Michael's death, but it's a tragic loss. And he was, in 1984, in my eyes, I think Mick Adams, he should have captained the 1984 Lions tour. Yeah. He was that respected, that much respected. And it's just a shame that good people like him have been took so early again. Yeah, I just thought I'd have to mention that.
No, yeah, it's a sad loss from rugby league.
Oh yeah,
it's good you have a leader like that at such a young age at Wembley to just give you that reality check.
When you have a look at that Widnes side, what I played in, like Mick Burke at fullback, Stuart Wright, Mick George, Mal Asper, Eric Hughes, Keith Bentley, Tony Marler, and then, your Brian Lockwoods, great forwards, Keith Elwell, Mike O'Neill, and they just go on at Les Gawley, Alan Dearden, and Mick Adams at loose forward. We were the best team in the country in that era. And it was a great time for me to join a club like that. We had a great coach in Dougie Lawton, he had a laugh with us, he was serious with us, but he knew how to pick a team, and he knew how to prepare. And I remember when we went to Southport with Bill Hartley, we went on the sand dunes and all that, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't have to run up that. But they knew exactly what we was doing. Yeah. And my first Wembley, I got... on the Monday going up to Wembley, I started getting a bit of toothache.
Oh yeah, just what you need.
And I thought, I'll be all right. It'll go by. So I left it. We travelled down on the Thursday morning for the game Saturday, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. And Dougie, he said, "Listen, lads, let's get on the coach at 7:00 Thursday evening." Got on the court, where we're going to get, we'll just go around the corner, we'll have a couple of pints. And I said, I don't want one. He said, no, Andy, it's your first Wembley, just have a couple of pints of Guinness, right, and it'll relax you, because you won't sleep after this. And my tooth was aching, so I thought, I had the 2 pints of Guinness like Dougie told me. I was training really well, felt as fit as anything, and I went, after we got off the coach, went back to the hotel, went to bed, got a bit of sleep, not much. Next night, Friday, we had a team meeting after we'd finished all our preparations, and then I went to bed, and could I sleep? No. My tooth was absolutely killing me. 2:00 in the morning, I phoned the club doctor. I said, Doc, I'm in agony. I need to go and get this tooth out. And I think it was just all the nerves just building up on me. Yeah. So I put my tracksuit on, taxi came, took us to the hospital, and there was 2 Ulkingston Rovers fans in the hospital. I always remember it. And they're looking and thinking, that's that Andy Gregory. He's supposed to be playing tomorrow. And I'm in hospital. So anyway, cut a long story short, they took my tooth out. And I get back to the hotel. Dougie says, Greg, have you had much sleep? I said, Dougie, I'm fine, don't worry. Just leave me alone. I've had enough sleep. So I goes, and I had this gauze in my mouth. Oh, yeah. And after about 2 minutes, Len Casey gave me an elbow, knocked the gauze straight out. So I was back to square one. But they memories. And I remember in the second half, I had a really quiet first half. That's when Mick Adams gave me a clip around the ear roll. Yeah. And in the second half, I did an interview with Eddie Waring at Wembley I've still got my medal in my hand, got my kit on. And Eddie Waring was saying, Andy, what about your try? Absolutely unbelievable. And I said, I know. I said, I went past him, I sidestepped him, I dummied him, went past him, and then I went through, sidestepped him, went through again. And gospel truth, if you ever look at or listen to the interview, I mentioned 6 players, and 3 of them weren't even on the pitch. I was just that. It was my 19th professional game. I was just taken aback by it. It was unbelievable. But out of the 98,000 people in the stand, in the stadium, I managed to pick out my mum and my 2 brothers who were sat there watching me. So that was special for me. My first Wembley. And my younger brother, Bryn, who's probably one of my best mates, he asked me, Greg, Andrew, he said, what was it like playing at Wembley? And I said, I can't remember. And I said to him, I'll have to go back again. But I never thought I'd go back 9 times.
No. That's the attitude that gets you there 9 times, though, isn't it? Once isn't good enough, I suppose, and especially if you can't remember it.
No, I didn't remember anything.
So how did things progress with Widnes?
We carried on going. We won the league title, we won the premierships.
Yeah.
And then 1984, I went as Great Britain's #1 scrum half over to Australia, and it was a bad tour for me.
Yeah.
Full credit to Ray Ashton. He was the better scrum half. I played terribly, you know, I really, really did. And I stuck it out for 16 weeks. But we went to Australia, New Zealand and Papua New Guinea. But I didn't play well at all.
Yeah.
I didn't. And it was a low, because I'd just come back from Wembley, 84, we'd just beat Wigan. And I went over there full of confidence, but I didn't play well. Don't know what I can put it down to. But like I say, I stuck it out for the 16 weeks. And when I came back from the tour, Widnes basically didn't offer me a contract. I'd run out of contract, you know. I'd run out of... I'd played 10 A-team games, I'd played 10 first-team games, I played for Lancashire, I played for Great Britain, I'd been on a tour, and that was it.
Why do you reckon they
basically, they didn't want to pay me, give me a new contract. And what they were saying is, they wanted me to play for win pay or losing pay. So at that time in 1984, losing pay was something like 48 quid. And I'm thinking, how do I, you know, I've got a wife and a kid, how do I live on 48 quid? And they was adamant that, and I put a transfer request in when I heard one of the directors say, you'll never leave here. And that made me more determined. And I stayed out the game. You know, I don't like doing what I did, but I had to do it. And Wigan came in for me, my hometown club. And then I got a phone call on like the deadline day off Warrington. Right. And they said, Andy, we spoke to Widnes. There's no way in the world you're going back to Widnes. There's no way you're going to Wigan.
Right.
And I didn't know this, but Widnes had been in touch with Reggie Bolden, who I took Reggie Bolden's place. Great player for Widnes, great person, great lad. And he was the coach of Warrington at the time. And he rang me, he said, Greg, they will not sell you to Wigan. I know you want to go to Wigan, but they won't sell you. So I said, what do I do? So I didn't have an agent, and I've never had an agent. No. So I made my own mind up. I walked up the road, saw Reggie, and it's funny, I signed the forms then to go to Warrington. Yeah. And I rang my mum up. I said, Mum, I finally got the move. I've left Widnes, I'm going. Oh, she said, I can't wait. Watch you walk out at Central Park. I said, no, Mum, I've signed for Warrington. And she went, it was like a satellite link up. It just went quiet. But then 2 years I had at Warrington was absolutely brilliant. I was there on Thursday night watching Warrington against Wigan. And, you know, they treat us. George, who runs the past players there, he does an absolute great job. And they made me so welcome. But they knew. I got Player of the Year the first year I was there. Yeah. We won the Premiership trophy. And we had a great side there. Every team I played for, we had a good side. You know, we had Steve Esford at full-back, Phil Ford on the wing. Like Ronnie Duane, who unfortunately got injured, but he would have been one of the world-class centres. Les Boyd, Kevin Tomati up front, Bob Eccles. You know, you know, absolute great players. But deep down in my heart, all the Warrington people, Peter Iam, he was the chairman of Warrington, he knew one day I wanted to go to Wigan.
Of course.
And when I got the opportunity in 1987, I had I had a bit of a fallout with Tony Barrett, who, still in my eyes, still a good mate of mine, and he knew that I wanted to leave. So I got the move I wanted, and then I got the move to Wigan. And even though I remember walking through being a Wigan player, and I'd already been on tours. I played for Great Britain. I've been to Wembley's, but walking down the tunnel at Central Park for the first time, being a Wigan player, is something absolutely special, which I'll take to the grave with me. It was brilliant, and I thought I'd come home and you know, all the people who's followed me all the way through my career just couldn't wait for me to walk out in a cherry and white shirt.
Of course.
And I couldn't myself. It was something what I always wanted to do, and proud that I did it.
And your mum would have been as well, right?
yeah. But when you walk through, you go into the changing rooms and you see the players. You know, I played with Joe Lyden at Widnes, and Joe was in there.
Yeah.
And you look around and you think, you know, we've got something special here. You know, like Sean Edwards.
Yeah.
Good mate of mine. I saw him at the weekend down in Wales. And you think, like Sean Wayne, prop forward, you know, they do a job, Brian Case. But we got the likes of G. Miles coming to the team.
Yeah.
You know, in 1987 when we won the first World Club Challenge.
Yeah.
And people ask me, you know, Greg, in the second World Club Challenge, I actually captained Wigan at Anfield.
Yeah. Was that against Penrith, was it?
Penrith at Anfield. And me being a Man United fan, there was no way in the world I was going to touch that. This is Anfield side. And everybody give me a bit of a telling off, actually, but I said, I couldn't beat you, I'm only 5'4". They said, no, you're not, you're a Man United fan and you're not going to touch it. But in 1987, and not many people know it, when we beat Manly in the first World Club Challenge, every one of the 13 was all British.
Right,
yeah.
Every one of them. I'll tell you the team. It was Joe Lyden, Richard Russell, David Stevenson. No, it was Paul, fullback, sorry. Steve Hampson, Richard Russell, David Stevenson, Joe Lyden, Henderson Gill, Sean Edwards, Andy Gregg, Brian Case, Nicky Case, Sean Wayne, Ian Potter, Andy Goodway, and Ellery Hanley. All British.
What a list of names as well.
You wouldn't. No word of a lie. Like, I remember in that Wigan era, nobody had heard of Frano Botica.
Yeah.
And I've played with some great goal kickers. Steve Esford at Warrington, Mick Burke at Widnes. Absolute. On Great Britain tours, Joe, again, great kicker. But I've never seen a better kicker in my life than Frano Botica. And everywhere we scored a try at Wigan, and we scored a lot, because we was in that era where, you know, we had tremendous players in every department.
Yeah.
But every time we scored a try, you knew damn well when Frano were kicking it, it had turned into 6 points. And it made a difference, you know. But we used to have a meeting on every Monday morning at Central Park. We had a little room to ourselves. And Graham Lowe and John Mooney, they both did it. And what was said in that meeting stayed in that meeting. And he said, John Mooney especially, he said, anybody leaks anything about what we've said in here, because everybody in the league, everybody in the country wanted to beat us. But we made ourselves. And we had a laugh along the way. We had great times, you know. When you're winning like that, it's just, it was a pleasure to go training. And we had a laugh. There were times where, even in training, we'd say like, Luke, we've got a game tomorrow. Pick a test match pace now. Because every one of us were test match players. Pick it up now. No drop balls, no bad kicks, no nothing. And if somebody dropped a ball, Jesus, you know, they'd be getting bollockings, and I mean, tellings off, even in training. But we took that attitude into the game with us. It was absolutely... Anybody who was in that era, they'll never get a better time in their life.
And so... With you going to Wigan from Warrington, and obviously you'd heard that years before when you were at St Pat's and you're amateur before you get to Widnes, was it ever really in question that you'd go to Wigan? Were you ever like, well, they've said that and now they want me, now I've proved?
No, it was a different regime. Like Maurice Lindsay, he signed me, and he came over to my house in Grappenhall, and we had a chat. He told me what his vision for the future was. And straight away I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And he said, Greg, you're going to be the main part of it, not be a part of it. You know, you'll be the one who's calling all the shots. And full credit to him and full credit to Ellery. Ellery was our captain. Probably the best. Him and Mick Adams are the best two captains I've ever played under. And all the moves during the game, during the 80 minutes, Andy Gregg called them.
Yeah.
Andy Gregg and Sean Edwards.
Yeah.
You know, Ellery just got on with his job, you know, talking, motivated, absolute leader. You know, he was up there at the front. When it needed the ball taken in, when it needed putting your body on the line to defend, he was there, and he was an inspiration to all of us. But we all knew our jobs, what we had to do.
Yeah.
And we went out there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We went out, trained, did it.
Yeah.
Sunday, we went out and performed, and that was it.
And was that a completely new discipline to you? I mean, at Widnes you said, you know, you were with some class players, but when you got to Wigan and you had your coaches like Morney, was that a different world to what
Correct.
you'd known before?
No, it weren't a different world, but we was... Before I went to Widnes, before I went to Wigan, I used to work in a scrapyard.
Yeah.
I used to own my own scrapyard.
Yeah.
And when I went to Wigan, the second year I was there, we were the first club ever to go professional.
Yeah.
So we were full-time professional players.
Yeah.
Even though I still had my scrapyard and I worked in it. But we got one step above everybody else. But that was down to the vision of Maurice Lindsay, Jack Robinson, Tom Rathbone. You know, the board of Wigan knew they'd have the following because they are the best. I know people call them and the Wigan walk and this, that and the other, but the Wigan fans, to me, I was only born a mile away from the stadium, Central Park. So, you know, to me, and the Riversiders, I'm still a part of the Riversiders. Barbara, who's on the committee, she does an absolute tremendous job. And I go and support the Wigan Riversiders.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, when my mum and my granddad took us, with our Bryn and our Neil, my brothers, we went down to Central Park. I don't go that often to the DW Stadium. Yeah. And I watched the game, Warrington against Wigan on the other night. I spoke to Wayne the day before. He said we've like a few players missing. He didn't tell me that there'd 9 players missing.
Yeah.
And they still went to Warrington and whacked them.
Yeah.
So the future for Wigan's looking good, looking really good.
Such a rich vein of players comes through all the time. So many teams around Wigan and stuff.
You know, Wigan's got a great scouting setup. They've got it right, you know, and if you're a kid and you want to play Rugby League, no matter what happens, 9 out of 10 want to play sometime. If you're born around this area, you want to play for Wigan.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And I suppose you're part of the reason for that and that team.
Well, we built... people say, is that the best team ever?
Yeah.
It'll take a very good team to, you know, to even match what we achieved.
Yeah.
Yeah, so touch on the Wigan v Manly match.
It was weird because we had great crowds at Central Park, but I remember we met at about 3:00 at Kelly Court, up Standish Way.
Oh yeah,
at the hotel, and it was a Wednesday afternoon, and I lived in Widnes at the time, so I drove to Killicourt, and then I remember when we got to Killicourt, we had a sandwich and we had a cup of coffee or whatever, you know, we're just relaxing. And then we got on the road about 5:00, come out to Killicourt, we saw a few cars going past with scarves hanging out the windows and whatnot, and then we got up to the Boar's Head, which is on the roundabout going into Wigan, on Wigan Road. And the Boar's Head was packed. It's like 5:00 and you'd see a Leeds shirt and a Bradford shirt and a Warrington shirt.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, it's like 3 hours before kick-off. So we're going down Wigan Lane and I'm looking around and we get to like where the Cherry Gardens are. And that's packed.
Yeah.
Of Wigan fans, Saints, like Dewsbury, Batley, Salford. And I'm thinking, Jesus, because it's the first World Club Challenge.
Yeah.
So we never knew what to expect. And we're coming down and we're stuck in traffic, and all the fans are, cheering us on and wishing us all the best, understand you? But there's fans from everywhere, not just Wigan fans.
Yeah.
Like, it looked as though the whole of the Rugby League congregation had just come to watch this game.
Yeah.
So as we're going past Wigan Hospital and going down to what you could see Central Park, and it was 6 o'clock, 2 hours before, we could hardly get in.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, Jesus, how special's this?
Yeah.
And as we turned into the car park where Central Park is, we pulls up and we managed to get out. And I'm walking past and there's thousands and thousands of fans. All the best, you've got to win it, you've got to win it, you've got to win it. And I thought, I've never seen, even though I'd played on big occasions, I've never seen anything like this. So we goes into the Central Park, goes into our changing room. I'm thinking, I'm looking round and I'm looking at our players. I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? So then they said, we're having a meeting upstairs, what used to be like the boardroom. So all the players went up, and I'm thinking, I'm going to have a... And it's about 6:30, 7:15, and I pulled the curtain open, and Central Park was just completely full. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what the hell is this? And then I said, have you seen it out there? So they're all looking and thinking, and we were all saying, I said, I know we're playing the best Australian team, what they've got. I said, but let's go out there and do it for ourselves. The first one, but this is something special.
Was everyone else thinking the same?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A winning mentality type thing.
And we went out, and I don't know how many people were there. I haven't got a clue. But when we walked out, the excitement was absolutely unbelievable. But you just want to get on with the game.
Yeah.
And then, I know they do it and this, that, and the other. But when we were just about to kick off, they set these fireworks off. But the smoke just kept coming and we couldn't see anybody. And I'm thinking, I just want, please kick off and let's get on with the game. And people say it was a classic and this is that and the other. And we ended up winning 8-2.
Yeah.
There wasn't a try scored. David Stevenson kicked 4 goals. And I think Michael O'Connor kicked the goal for Manly, I'm not sure. But I've never played in a game as intense where, like, the rivalry between Australia and England, was massive, and everybody gave their all. And one lad who led from the front, who ended up getting man of the match, was Sean Wayne.
Yeah.
And he just hit it up. And then, when the Aussies, a couple of the Australian forwards had a bit of a pop at me, and Wayne got in there straight away and sorted it out.
Oh, yeah.
But it was that kind of game. It weren't a classic game. I've played in some games where I dropped Sean Edwards off and he's put Ellery through a gap and he's gone under the sticks. It was nothing like that. It was just 80 minutes. Nobody missed tackles. Everybody put the body on the line. And I think all 26 players who walked off that pitch knew that the next day they knew they'd been in the game.
Yeah.
But it's one which it'll go down in history. It'll go down in my history.
Definitely. I mean, I've watched that game since on YouTube and things like that, and like you say, I've never seen a game where it seems like it could kick off at any second as much as that. Like even Wigan and Saints, Leeds and Bradford in the day, it's unbelievable. Do you think that came from Wigan feeling like they had to prove they were obviously the best in the country, but there's always been that thing with Australia being a level up or like it's a step up to go there? Do you think it was partly
like I said, it was the first World Club Challenge.
Yeah.
And I was playing for my hometown club. Yeah. And I was saying, listen, we're the champions of this country.
Yeah.
Let's be the champions of the world.
Yeah.
And we got it into everybody's head. That's what we wanted to be. If we beat Manly, we're the best team in the country. we're the best club team in the world of rugby league because we've won the World Club Challenge, and that's what we did.
So how did it feel, like you were saying about you played in the one at Anfield as well? I mean, obviously I have mixed feelings with being a United fan playing there.
It was brilliant because, like, I love my football. I have a load of friends who are Liverpool. In fact, I've actually married a Liverpoolian, so I've nothing against Scousers. But I remember Ellery pulled out, and I was the captain.
Right.
When we beat Penrith.
Yeah.
And I remember making a bit of a gap. Worked a great deal in the game. Penrith was a great side. And they had Royce Simmons and John Cartwright in their side. Great players, great test players, great friends of mine. But I remember the deadlock got broke. I made a bit of a break, passed the ball inside to Sam Panapa. He went under the sticks. Joel Arden kicked the goal, and we carried on from there. But to win, like, the World Club Challenge, you know, like I've done it twice.
Yeah.
Just, I wish, talking about being the best club side in the world, and we'll probably talk about it again, you know. I played in 6 Ashes series, never picked the Ashes up. We beat Australia in 1988 in Australia.
Yeah.
You know, one lad who's no longer with us again, Mike Gregg. Yeah. I made a bit of a break, and Mike Gregg got the ball off me. I run 10 yards, he run 80 yards. And if that try would have been the other way about, it wouldn't have been scored. There's no way I would have run 90 yards. But no, to win the World Club Challenge twice, it's, you know, it did. But like you mentioned at the start, I had a great career, and I'm proud of everything I achieved.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel like it compares? Does it seem like it means the same now to win a World Club Challenge? Obviously, Wigan won it this year against Cronulla. Do you think it's still as held in high regard, or do you think Australian teams don't take it as seriously? And
well, I suppose you can look at it. I know I was talking to Wayne again. They prepared for that game like they do any game, you know, and that's how they are. They're 100% discipline. They want to win. They don't want to lose. He hates losing. And they went there, but if you have a look on the other side, Warrington, they had a great win.
Oh, yeah.
And they've not won again since. So what kind of Brisbane team came over?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I suppose it's one of those where the Australians seem to say that they're not as bothered about it once the results has been made. Like, when they've won, then they're happy to say that.
But like the Australians, they don't like losing at anything. But when they get beat, they always come up with an excuse.
Yeah.
But like I'm not a biased pommy. I've got some great friends in Australia.
Well, you've played there, haven't you? As well?
I've down in Wollongong, down with Illawarra Steelers. I've got some great friends, and one of my best mates, I don't speak to him that often these days, is Wally Lewis.
Yeah.
It's probably the best stand-off I've played against.
Yeah. Do you still think of that time fondly that you spent in Australia? Are you happy you went over there and did that?
Yeah, I remember me and Steve Hampson went over there, and when we got there, he said, Greg, Illawarra Steelers, what are they like? I said, well, you know, they're playing in the top league in Australia, good side. How good? I said, well, go and have a look at the newspaper. And when we got there, Ron Hilditch, who was our coach, he said to us, on our first training session, me and Steve Hampson were stood there, and he said, listen, lads, glad to have you here. No doubt you're going to be a good acquisition. Yeah. He said, but we play to a pattern over here, and we don't want you to change anything.
Right.
Worst thing he could ever do to a pommy halfback.
Yeah, when you're used to calling the shots at what?
Well, when we got there, Illawarra, and I pointed out to Steve, I said, did you listen to what he said, Ampo? He said, yeah. You don't want us to change anything. And guess what? We were there 20 games later. When we went, they were bottom of the league.
Right.
When we left, They were bottom of the league. We didn't change anything. But we got them to a Panasonic Cup final.
Yeah.
And again, I got man of the match in the Panasonic Cup final.
Yep.
And I got 28,000 Australian dollars worth of electrical equipment. That was my prize.
Nice.
Imagine coming through Manchester Airport. I'd be anything to declare. Have a fridge, have a washer. So I had to get rid of that. It was unbelievable. Illawarra had never ever been past the second round. And we went all the way to the final. And we got beat. Wally Lewis, Gene Miles, Alan Langer played. We got beat at Parramatta Stadium in the last minute. And it just came out on the tannoy. Tonight's man of the match is Illawarra, number 7, Andy Gregg. And I, like I say, I got £28,000 worth of Panasonic gear. What am I going to do with it? So, but that league is the toughest league. You know, I admire James Graham, Adrian Morley, who is held in the highest esteem over there, Moz. And you go up front there as a prop forward and do what he's achieved. I tell you, and he's a great lad. He'll never change. But your Burgesses who went over there and whatnot, James Graham's doing it now, like I mentioned. But it's one tough league to play in that.
Yeah. I mean, you see so many young wingers, especially. They seem to go over there and they've excelled over here, like Joe Burgess. You know, he excelled for 1 year and then he went over there and it didn't seem to click for him. Is there that big culture shock when you get there? Is it?
It's an unbelievable lifestyle. It's you wake up every morning, 9 times out of 10, the sun's on your back. You get out there, you're training, great facilities. You go out, have a nice meal on the beach and this, that, you have a barbie and whatnot. But at the end of the day, week in, week out, there's no easy games. Yeah. And they'll soon find you out. Yeah. And you cannot go over there and shirk in any way, I can assure you. Yeah. And I took a few bangs and but I give a few as well. Yeah. Because I'm thinking if he's going to try and crack me, I'm going to crack him first. Yeah. And that's why, you respect what you do, Like the 2 half-backs who I played against was Peter Sterling, Alan Langer, and Wally Lewis, Brett Kenny. All 4 I keep in touch with now and again. Yeah. And, with the utmost respect for all of them. Yeah. Well,
I suppose they command it with what they've achieved in the game and they know what you have as well. I suppose it's that professional respect in it, you've all excelled in your sport and stuff.
Well, there's nothing... Like in 1988, when in that 3rd test, when I was with David Hume, Paul Hume, Dad were there in the stand, and Phil Ford and Mike Gregg, and Henderson Gill and Martin Afire and Ellery, and we was all there, and we were thinking, does it get much better than this? Yeah. Beating Australia in their own backyard. I know we'd lost the series, but we still... Like Hugh Waddell, who got, he brought in, who had an absolute great game, and Hughie all tour, he was pushing for a test spot and pushing. And that day, he got his jersey, and he didn't let anybody do it. Nobody did. Yeah. But to beat Australia in their own backyard, it don't get much better than that.
Of course.
Do you feel going over as a English player, do you get a bit more trouble off the Australians, do you reckon?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're a pommy halfback. Yeah. People said I used to be like... People who don't know me thought I was big-headed and cocky and this, that, and the other. Yeah. I've never been big-headed in my life. I won a lot of trophies. I don't gloat about it. But I also had confidence in my own ability. And I was... a rugby league player who wanted to create gaps for people, put people in spaces, try a little chip over the top, do something different. And I remember coaches saying to me, Greg, we don't know what you're going to do with the ball. And I said, well, you won't know what I'm going to do with the ball because I don't know what I'm going to do myself.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, we'd have a move on, but I'd see Andy Goodway or Ellie Rianley coming on, going, and I think, bang, put him through a gap. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
And we played at times off the cuff rugby, but it worked because we had, I wouldn't say 13 players, we had 20 players, and that's why I admire John Morner, because that Wigan team what went on to win everything. Graham Lowe started it, who was a great coach, still is. Yeah. But John Morner took it one step higher, but he kept 20, 22 players happy.
Yeah.
Because nobody wanted to leave Wigan at the time. But you only can play 13 and you only can put 2 or 4 on your bench. But everybody was happy in the squad. Even though they weren't playing, they knew they'd get a chance. But nobody wanted to get dropped. So everybody just wanted, week in, week out. And like I say, we had laughs after training sessions. We went out some of us went out for a couple of pints. Some of us went out for a nice walk. Some went out for a nice meal. But we was all stuck together. And it was one happy place to be. And we tried that with the Great Britain set up. And we got there because Malcolm really was a great coach.
Yeah.
And a lot of that 88 team and the 92 touring team, what went to Australia, was made up by mainly the Wigan players. And the mentality what the Wigan players had, we rubbed off. And all right, we didn't win the Ashes, but we certainly pushed them then.
Well, Gaff, that were a decent way to start the first series, wasn't it?
Oh, we couldn't have asked for a better guest, could we? A personal, and I know he's one of your heroes, Mike, of the game growing up.
Aye.
And we really couldn't have asked for a better first guest. Made us feel welcome in his own home, and was up for talking about anything.
As you heard as well, it was in full floor. And it was good hearing how freely he was speaking about the highs and lows of starting his career.
Yeah, and luckily for you lot, that's only the first episode with Mr. Andy Gregory, as next week we go further into his career, from his further playing days at Wigan and beyond, plus his time in coaching and thereafter. So, all that's left for us is to say thank you for listening and to keep your eyes peeled and your ears open for more from the Can't Speak podcast, the home of Rugby League chat. Hello, it's us again. Just letting you know, if you haven't quite had your fill of the Can't Speak podcast, there's plenty more to catch online. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, searching the handle @Can'tSpeakPod.
I'd like to thank Thomas Griffin of The Splicing Block, who recorded, edited and produced this podcast. He's the man to ring for all your podcast needs.
Also, if you'd like to help us keep this podcast going and continue to bring these insightful and entertaining interviews with Rugby League legends, you could help us by going to our Patreon, which is the Can't Speak podcast on the Patreon website, and you can donate as little as £1 up to as much as you want, and that'll help us get around the country and get to these players that we all want to hear the stories of, and we'll continue to bring these interviews to you. Thank you very much.